Good day, dear friends. My name is Alexander, and today we continue to introduce you to various greenhouse structures, which include not only the greenhouse itself but also the internal infrastructure, in order to grow effectively and correctly. We are directly manufacturers of greenhouses and carry out a full cycle, that is, from the manufacture of greenhouses to the completion of internal equipment systems, that is, heating, lighting, irrigation, ventilation, all the necessary infrastructure, that is, we complete and manufacture, install, assemble. With interesting designs that are, firstly, functional, secondly, ergonomic, and thirdly, visually aesthetic. This design is made using the Mittlider technology. It is called Farmer Pro and measures 8 meters by 16 meters. For more details, you can visit our website teplitca.kiev.ua and see these designs, and you can directly order this design from us. The greenhouse we are talking about has been improved, tuned, that is, many interesting solutions have been installed, which I think you will like. Write your questions, comments, and suggestions. We are always interested in feedback on what we do. The 8 by 16 meter greenhouse is an arched Mittlider greenhouse with straight legs and an arched roof, that is, a very interesting and quite functional option. Each load-bearing arch is made in the form of a truss, which provides good load-bearing capacity. Regarding the features of the greenhouse, firstly, it is divided into blocks and sections. It has 4 blocks, that is, the first block is the vestibule. When we enter the greenhouse, we first enter the vestibule. For ceiling, we installed metal plastic doors because they are more airtight and better retain heat, since each opening and closing element is always an additional cold bridge. First, we enter the greenhouse and enter the vestibule, that is, we cut off the cold air coming from outside into the vestibule. On the right in the vestibule we have a seedling compartment. The heating of the greenhouse is made in such a way that we can, in principle, turn off the entire greenhouse, all the blocks, and leave only the seedling compartment. There we can grow seedlings directly in order to then plant them in the greenhouse, that is, it is not necessary to heat the entire greenhouse. In the rest of the greenhouse, we can maintain a low temperature there, plus 5 degrees, so that it does not freeze. As soon as we get the seedlings, we plant them in a warm greenhouse, but, of course, we speed up the entire growing process. All the nodes are located in the seedling compartment, the heat input, and there is a water input. All the main infrastructure for managing the greenhouse is there. There are also racks with LEDs where we grow products. Then we enter the greenhouse itself, and the greenhouse is additionally divided into 2 more blocks. 2 blocks are made so that we can grow some plants, for example, tomatoes, and in the other block, other plants, cucumbers, that is, those plants that need different climatic conditions for growth. Blocks are an element of the greenhouse layout. They are quite interesting and quite functional in order to grow various plants in a small area. Also, raised beds are made here. They were poured with concrete separately. It is more durable, but, on the other hand, it takes up a little more internal space. A heat and cold accumulation system is installed inside the beds. I will briefly tell you about this system. The heat and cold accumulation performs the function of collecting excess warm air, storing it in the ground, and then heating the greenhouse with it at night. Someone says that it does not work, but I will say the following. There are several facts and several feedbacks that we received directly from the operation of these functionalities. For example, in one of the greenhouses, at the inlet to the pipes, the temperature is 31 degrees, at the outlet 25 degrees, that is, 6 degrees of heat that was in the air, it went somewhere. Naturally, it went to accumulate in the heat. This is the first fact. About 22 degrees, that is, 30 degrees enters at the inlet, 22 comes out, that is, heat is taken away. The second fact is the feedback on the greenhouses in which we installed all this. What happens in the summer? For example, when the temperature rises sharply in the morning, and when heat accumulation is turned on, the temperature drops by 5-6 degrees quite quickly. That is, it rose to 35, accumulation turned on, the temperature dropped. But after 3-4 hours of operation of heat and cold accumulation, that is, the soil temperature equalizes with the air, plus or minus, and the drop stops. There was quite an interesting case when the heating in the greenhouse accidentally turned off, and it was -8 outside. Due to heat accumulation, the greenhouse held the temperature for 4 hours, and the sensors that showed the air temperature at the working level, this is 1.5 meters, well, that is, they already dropped to +8, but the ground was warm, therefore all the seedlings that were in the ground, that is, they lasted these 4 hours without heating, although temperature in the greenhouse dropped to +8 degrees, but the seedlings were not damaged. We see that there is a certain effect from the accumulation. Additional LED lighting is also installed in the greenhouse. The light is assembled on the basis of Japanese NECA diodes. They have the highest luminous efficacy, about 180 lumens per watt. This means that a 200-watt lamp, for example, emits 200 multiplied by 180, and what we get is 36,000 lumens of luminous flux that is created. Now let's compare, for example, ordinary diodes that we buy in stores. They have a luminous flux of about 80 lumens per watt. Good diodes emit a luminous flux of about 100 lumens per watt of power, that is, these are good LEDs that will cost about twice as much as those that are 80 lumens per watt. Classy diodes, some of the highest quality diodes, will emit 120 lumens per watt, that is, this is the luminous flux that we receive, and branded ones, that is, there are American ones, they produce a luminous flux of 150-180 lumens per watt. This is the first point. And this is what distinguishes most LEDs, namely the efficiency they emit. This is connected with many nuances, including the drivers that convert the luminous flux. For example, sodium lamps have an efficiency of about 120-150 lumens per watt of luminous flux, that is, quite high, quite strong. But the nuance is that the sodium lamp shines at 360 degrees, that is, it shines in all directions. For this they make a reflector. There is a reflector in the lamp itself. 1. There is a reflector in the projector itself. 2. But the reflection is still not 100%, so even when we take an LED that emits light only at 180 degrees, a lens is placed there, and the lens allows this light to be collected in a beam of 120 degrees, 90 degrees, 60 degrees, that is, we can create a luminous flux in a beam. These LEDs have a luminous intensity of about 3000 Kelvin, that is, the color temperature. This means that in this spectrum there is a lot of red spectrum and blue and green. This spectrum is very close directly to the sodium lamp, well, and the solar spectrum. It is more yellowish, warmer. The higher the color temperature, the whiter and colder the light we have and the more blue spectrum it contains. These lamps have a very good luminous flux and a color temperature of about 3000 Kelvin. The main advantage of these diodes is the duration and, so to speak, their service life. They have a 5-year warranty, that is, it is quite a lot. The usual warranty for LEDs is there for 6 months, a year. Very slow degradation, and degradation is directly a decrease in luminous flux per 1 watt, that is, if they're in 1 year the luminous flux will not be 150, but 145, after 2, they're 3, 4, 5, it will decrease. Here are quite good crystals and very slow degradation. Also, very low energy consumption for lighting. In this greenhouse, the ventilation system is at a high level because there is ventilation from the south side of the greenhouse, vents that open manually. Good ceiling because there is a mosquito net. There are vents on the north side, there are vents at the top, which are installed so that, well, there are drives on top that can open and close the vent both manually and with the help of thermal sensors. Heating is installed in the greenhouse. A fairly simple option, the boiler is located separately, a heating main is connected here, and radiators with thermostatic heads with thermostats are placed around the perimeter in the greenhouses, so we can regulate the temperature in each, so to speak, separate section where the radiator is located, that is, individually. For example, if we need to set a higher temperature on the north side, we set it and adjusted it. In one block we need a higher temperature, in another lower, that is. All this is regulated and quite simply, once set up and, in principle, we don't bother. Naturally, there is watering here. Watering is divided into many zones, each tray is an individual zone, and in it we can individually adjust watering. Why? For example, lettuce needs us to water more, tomatoes need us less, cucumbers in another block, there we need to water more, that is. Everything is designed so that each bed can grow a separate type of plant, and for this we can regulate watering. This greenhouse is universal, you can grow anything in it. It allows each block to be adjusted to its own climate, we can even turn off one room. All this allows various plants to be grown in the greenhouse all year round, including in summer, because in summer the greenhouse is very well ventilated, there is a fog system for cooling and for watering. This design can, in principle, be made independently, but also ordered from specialists, that is, we have been building greenhouses of various designs, blocks, for both individual and commercial use for 10 years. Go to our website teplitca.kiev.ua and see both the greenhouse itself and the equipment for it. Leave your questions in the comments, maybe something is not fully covered, that is, I will try to answer. We do not always have time, it does not always work out, but be persistent, we will definitely answer you.